you by joining us at dtitrader.com/YouTube. Click the bell to subscribe and then like, and feel free to invite your friends. I do want to make this risk disclaimer here real quick. There is a very high degree of risk involved in trading. You and you alone are going to be responsible for the decisions you make. Make sure you make them with the proper information, and we'll keep up with that. Remember, past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Now, before we go any further, I wanted to show you
Well, good
something.
morning, folks. It's Wednesday.
Hang on one second.
Boy,
Wanted to show you something that you would have seen on Telegram this morning. This is Tom, and he's going to be telling you a little bit about the markets here. So let's listen in.
Well, good morning, folks. It's Wednesday, and boy, what a day we're having. Today, I have several trades I'm going to do. One, AMD, look at it. That was a stock I identified in the weekly newsletter. Reminder about that. We're raising the price on that. Make sure you buy at the current subscription price. We're putting it together. We're going to expand what we do with it. We got so many people part of it. Our experiment worked.
Hey, Chuck, I have to replay it, or maybe I can replay it because I can't hardly hear it.
Why don't you replay it? It doesn't do justice.
Here, I'll take the screen from you, Chuck, and play it and then hand it back. I've got a little more control over the sound here on my computer, I think.
All right, go ahead.
Well, good morning, folks. It's Wednesday.
Could y'all hear that? Before I go any further, could you hear it?
That's great.
Okay, perfect.
And boy, what a day we're having. Today, I have several trades I'm going to do. One, AMD, look at it. That was a stock I identified in the weekly newsletter. Reminder about that. We're raising the price on that. Make sure you buy at the current subscription price. We're putting it together. We're going to expand what we do with it. We got so many people part of it. Our experiment worked, and I want to enhance it today. We'll start putting those changes in place with the weekly newsletter. I asked Adam to put a link if you want to renew or you make sure you're covered at the existing price. That's number one. Number two, if you look in TNT this morning, you can see that NVIDIA was my top horse. It went up to 117 overnight. NVIDIA is, 114, 115. But we got a lot of great trades there. Our AMD identification last week. Look at AMD, MU's up. The stocks we're picking will pay you if you use the DTI method to get in. That's what you got to learn, the DTI method. I know that as we start the day today, I'm going to be really tied up the first hour trying to come up with some option trades that will pay us, not just this week, but next week. The trade I did with Intel in front of Rogers Group is paying about 80%. Give me a break. That's pretty strong. The other thing I'm doing a project. I'm taking the top 100, I get love letters, and I'm putting it in a book with case studies and stuff that I'll get and put together. I'll get Adam and Jonathan on that, and we'll start working on it. So if you got a love letter you want to send it to Row@DTI Trader. Make sure you're included in there. It doesn't have to be long, 3 or 4 sentences, but how we've helped you become a better trader investor. That's the idea here. And maybe a small story about how we did it. So my pivot number today, 7305. My resistance level's up at 7385. If you look in TNT, I posted the resistance and support. 7255 is the support level, and that should help you. I'm a little long-winded today because I'm pretty excited. I've talked to several people already this early in the morning. I have an early crew that gets up to read those TNT ideas. Intel's the number one horse, remains the number one horse. I believe it's headed to 150. I said next year, but hey, It's at a pretty good pace. So, the longest T-Buzz TV I've had in a while. Have a great day. Let's make some money together, learning the art of trading and train and trade. See you there.
Yeah, and the point I was making, I typically make that 30 seconds to a minute and a half. That's really, but today I wanted to bring up a couple things. A new program starting in here in Train and Trade. I don't want it to go away, but I got to keep seeing growth. Time is the most valuable asset I have and you have, but I can get you to help me. And I'll show you an easy way to do that in a little bit. That's number one. Number two, if you want to join T-Buzz TV, let's post a link in there if they don't have it. That's the first thing I do every morning. About 7 o'clock, I post it in the different rooms, but I think that if you'll join T-Buzz TV and make that one of the first things you listen to in the morning, you're definitely going to get whether to be long, short, or out with my pivot number. People that track this say it's about, 98% accurate. That's pretty good for free, and you get it every morning. I give it to you because I want you to make money, and it's a good way to make money. Example, today the S&P is trading 73.70, and guess what? 73.05 was my pivot number, okay? And I think that's good, and I think that is pretty outstanding if you think about it. So let's get into the presentation. We got a lot to cover today. This is the first day after the 3-day algo. Jonathan's been charged with finding stocks. I found some we already traded, but he's going to give us some more this morning for us to look at. And so it's always worth following the DTI process. I think people with what you're posting in here is good. The weekly newsletter, Don, type the link in there for Don where you can join the weekly newsletter. I'm expanding that. I hadn't told Chuck what I'm going to do. After this, I'll tell Chuck what's going to happen on Wednesdays. And you get a real touch of what I would call. The price increases to $49 next week. And so, but you can join now for $9.99 for a year if you sign up right now. Next Wednesday, we'll start bringing out the new features with the weekly newsletter. I want to give you information on a current basis that takes advantage of the market. And we can do that with our weekly newsletter. So get joined at $9.99. It is going to $49 next week.
All right. Well, Tom, I'm looking forward to hearing what you've got. Let's see. We got our risk disclaimer out there. So let's talk about some of that news. Crude, a big part of the news, opened at 102.70. They went down to an overnight low of 88.66. Let's see, taking a quick look now. 88.66, still the low. They back up to 95.83. And of course, you know, paying attention to that news coming out of the Strait of Hormuz, that's going to be one of the big factors here. So we had some developments in that.
And let me highlight, if you're in my futures program this morning, I posted the MTI showing a short on crude and said, here's that one I've been talking about. That was a quick $500 if you took the trade off the MTI into crude as it fell to 89. Folks, I keep telling you to join my crude class. These people are not paying for it. And they're getting education they can't get anywhere else in the world every Monday night. So I want to tell you about it here. Hopefully they'll put the link in there if you want to join. They've got a 3-month entry when you can take if you want to. You'll get the link for that and post it in there. But I don't want to leave anybody behind that's serious about making money. I don't want to do it. And there's the link to join futures if you want to. We've got a special going there. All right. Anybody going to take me up on this special? Anybody like making money? I'll say it to your face. You like making money, learning how to make money? Get in my Futures Plus right there. And I told you those class spots where you come in person are going away. I counted last night. I think we got like 7 left for the year. I told you they'd go away. So if you can't procrastinate with me, indecision leads to procrastination. Procrastination leads to failure. Napoleon Hill. Back to you, Chuck.
All right, Tom.
And by the way, I apologize to Chuck and Jonathan in front. I've been going since 4 o'clock this morning. Everybody's got to catch up, right?
Did you start drinking coffee again this morning, Tom?
Huh?
Did you start drinking coffee again?
Oh, I've been drinking coffee all morning. I think I've had too much.
Well, I can tell you're hyped up. And listen, I don't blame you, because when we look at some of the news this week, AMD earnings blew the top off this market, and we're all excited about that. And then add on to it, Disney beats this morning, and one of the big glaring absences in the market has been the Dow pushing. You had a Disney beat here this morning. We've got McDonald's still to come, and if these earnings keep coming out the way that they seem to be coming out now, then yeah, the sky's the limit on this market. There's absolutely great reason to be excited, and we're building up towards Friday's employment situation reports. So that's going to be a big deal. The employment situation reports, by the way, include non-farm payroll and one of my favorites, the participation rate. Now, key levels for this market, the overnight high was 73.66 quarter. And guys, we've actually pushed past that. We now have 73.75 as the new high. So you can see the market's above all of these numbers. That FTD high, we know how important that is. We'll get to the FTD spreadsheet in a bit. 73.04 quarter kind of aligns with Tom's 73.05 pivot number. As long as we stay above 73.05, you got a bullish bent on this market, but you got to watch that number right there. Now, the week open 72.76 quarter. The May open 72.56, and the FTD lows 71.99.50. Looks like the market may have left those in the dust. All right, so we get to Tom's opinion. Tom, is there anything else you want to add to what you've already said this morning?
My opinion is the following. If you're listening to anybody else, I'd like to know who, because I've been talking to people and had a real discussion with people. I'm going to give you trades that are based on probability and odds, not based on emotion. And so all you have to do is look at what we've done or how we do it to get that understanding that you're getting high odds trades anytime we do trades. We don't do it for fun. We do it to make money. And I see a lot of people that go and listen to some guy, and the next thing I know, they drop $5,000-$10,000 and they get hampered. So many people that come to me face to face say, Tom, I'm going to listen to you because I looked at what I did with you. I said, I'm not going to be responsible for anybody else screwing you up, but I will be responsible for telling you how to do it right. And I really want to make an emphasis of that because the DTI approach, using the roadmap software, MTI by DTI, you learn that and you can enhance everything I'm doing to even make more. For example, let me give you an example. This morning in live trading, I bought a QQQ trade. Anybody buy that QQQ trade this morning? Anybody buy it? Well, I told people in there your target range on that QQQ was, what was it, Jonathan? 439 to what did I say, 475, something like that.
Yeah.
If you got the roadmap software and you got what I've taught you, you're still milking that sucker. It's $5 and a nickel right now with no sign it's given up. And how do I know? I'm looking at the roadmap. That's 70 cents more than what I did publicly if you got the roadmap and the training. Now, how many people would like to learn how to do that kind of stuff? Frank can tell you I do it pretty regular. Neil will tell you, these guys have paid the dues, studied, got the home study, they've been in person. These people are serious about their own money and they want to make more. That's what I'm getting at. Okay. That was our live trading we did, Sean. That was something we sold. I don't know if I'll do it again. I might do it later on in the year, but that's a lot of work. This morning I gave him 4 trades. We'll review everything we did. That's my opinion. Take it away, Chuck.
All right, thank you, Tom. And let's go. Let's talk about crude. ATR of 26.44. That's kind of a big ATR in this market. Of course, that is for the daily. That's not intraday. That's daily. So we've seen very active markets. The run up, you can kind of see when this whole, or actually, I think we got to go back a little bit further to see when the war footing started. But we did see. Yeah, but we did see, Tom, you remember as the peace talks started coming up, we saw the crude drop down to that 80 level you had talked about. And of course, climb back up as it got kind of wishy-washy. But here you go, another big move back down. And we'll see if it's going to come all the way back down to that 80 level and maybe dip below that. Right now, though, I think basically the stock or the market is being a little bit reticent about what it takes and what it gives, but sharp decline this morning, and we'll see what that means for things moving forward. The biggest thing I'm looking at, though, we're staying below that high point, which was around 110. I think earlier in the year it was around 120, so the high points are a little bit lower, and you got the market coming back down a little bit. So we'll see how long that holds out. And
let me just say something about crude, okay?
All right.
I've been telling people, anybody would listen, don't be buying oil stocks. Anybody heard me say that? Don't buy oil stocks. You're going to get your head handed to you. The oil stocks, after that first initial bump, they got up there to those highs, sucked everybody in. Now a lot of these brokers were invested in oil. They never took a chance to look at, or took a 5 minutes to look at where December crude is being forecast, which told you this was a short-term pop. And I've been telling people that. And the reason I've been telling people that, because I hate to see people throw good money away. And so what we did is, we talked about it. This morning, I acted. I told people, look at MTI, perfect sell. I'd say 96 to 89 is a great first start. And it's not over, because I think it's going to get lower and lower and lower on a longer term basis as we get into December. That's my opinion. Don't fill your gas tank up to Saturday.
All right, let's keep going here. Booked several profits this morning. And for those of you who were in the live trading, how did you guys do? Let us know if you were following along. Let's see in the chat room what we've got here. And I'm going to kind of click through here. Here's one ticker payout, trade review, QQQ.
Another win for one ticker. Probably one of the best programs I've got on the QQQ. If you add up what you make off that, that's all you need to focus on, that one program if you're a trader. It's a heck of a program I set up. I think at one point we had 30 in a row in there. I forget the exact number. It was like going for the record of DiMaggio getting on base again.
Right. Bob saying doing very well in this morning's live trades. That's great. So how many of you were able to take advantage of the QQQ? 20% return on risk right there. So that means $1,000 risk turns into a $200 profits. The June 12th, 710, 715 debit call spread. Very consistent. There you go. Thanks for that, Jim. We appreciate it. Let's keep going. What else do we have here? We've got the Weekend Profits Club, one of my favorite, Tom. Make money over the weekend. Why not? What else are you going to do on Saturday?
Speaking of that, I need to tell Jonathan to do something before I forget. Jonathan, will you put together the last 10 trades on the Weekend Profits Club? The record for this is a trade I've done through thick and thin every week on Friday afternoon. And again, if you're part of this program, you know what I'm talking about. This is like money that you set aside, you go, hey, I'm gonna put it in the Weekend Profits Club on Friday when Tom does it. It's a heck of a trade.
Yeah, definitely. Let that money work over the weekend. And as you can see here, this trade, XSP, June 12th, debit call spread, 29% return on risk. That's a great way to spend your weekend. And all you got to do is put it on at the end of the week, show up at the beginning of the week, and there you go. Of course, we should say, Tom, past performance not necessarily indicative of future results, but hey.
Oh, when I'm dead and gone, I want an asterisk in there unless you were trading with Tom.
We'll see if we can make that happen. All right. So the
fun, folks.
25-cent trader. How about this one?
Yeah.
So this is another XSP, and this is
Jonathan, remind me, I'm gonna put another 25-center out today. Okay.
Yeah. So not really a spread here, just the 790 call and 23% return on that. Little dip in, dip out, make it work for you. Not a bad way to start out the day. Let's see, what else have we got going on here? We got Tuesday power plays, Tom, and of course it's Wednesday right now, so we just did Tuesday. Little review here. Google, May 15th call, 61% return. I think you picked listen, you may have picked the right stock here, Tom. I wonder, could you have done better on AMD? But hey, listen, I'm not going to knock a 61% return, though.
Hold the presses. That's not the important part. This is the most effective way to teach you how to successfully sign and play options. If you're new to options, you ought to be in this program. If you're experienced in options like money, you ought to be in it. Jonathan, given the introductory rate link, because I think more people that get in this become better traders because they learn the right way to do it. Okay. So Jonathan's going to give you the link. It's $97 for 30 days. Get started. Let me know you're going to do it. And, it's just a heck of a trade. Okay. A heck of a trade to learn how to find these things. It's one of the probably most impressive things we do here at DTI. It takes 3 people to pull it off, and a lot of time, but this is on Friday. You get 5 opportunities every Tuesday. Who is not a member of this? Tell me if you're not a member, and we'll get the link. There's the link. It's $25 to try it. You'll be on scholarship after 1 month, my prediction. Here's your chance. Join. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This is so, if you want to, how many people, let me ask you a question, Dave or Azrael, do you want to learn how to trade options effectively? Sean, you're flamming around out there. Be part of it. If I get enough people to join, I'll have a master class. That's worth a lot more than $97, but I'll do one if we get enough people that want to take me up on that offer at $97. Goodness gracious, that's a tip. 61%. That's powerful, isn't it, John? And I'm gonna give Jonathan credit. I called Jonathan this week. I said, Jonathan, we got unemployment on Friday. I said, it's up to you. You want to do this? He said, Tom, your track record's so good. I think it will hurt people if we don't do it. I said, well, let's do it. And I popped it out. So let's give Jonathan a love letter in my book that we're putting together. He's the reason we had power trades this week. Jonathan Rowe at DTI Traders. Send him a love letter. He likes to feel good too.
All right, so let's keep running here. After Tuesday power plays, what have we got? Well, now we talk about the annual Sawgrass Workshop, Tom. And if you want to learn how to put it together and some of those strategies that come into making those trades, this is a great place to go and learn that. It'll be running May 31st through June 2nd. The team, Jeff, Tom, and Jonathan. And I'm going to try and sneak my picture in there next time.
You keep saying that. Don't say it anymore unless it's there, Chuck. I'm tired of hearing you procrastinating on it. Get your picture in there.
I'll tell you what. I'll do that May 31st. How's that?
It's up to you.
All right. So what's covered? Sunday night meet and greet, Monday night reception, live trading, future stocks and options, how to use probabilities, take bigger gains, uh, looking at each day's opportunities. And as you can tell from the trades we just reviewed a little bit earlier, we got a couple of those. Let's see, stock market opportunities, show you how to establish a solid plan because you need a plan if you're going to be trading. Day one, that's the meet and greet from 6 to 8. Then we step away to do the plan for the week. We do that Sunday night planning session basically every Sunday night, unless of course there's a Monday holiday, then it'll be Monday night. But that planning session with Tom, make sure you've got access to that. Call ahead to find out how. Now, on Monday, we start with breakfast, then we get into the trading strategy education part, move over to lunch, come back in, do 3 more hours of trading, planning, and education. And then we've got a VIP cocktail reception and dinner that evening. So looking forward to seeing everybody there. If you don't know, they feed us very well down at these sessions. Day 3, we get breakfast, 3 more hours of live trading, break for lunch, and then another 3 hours of live trading, education, and of course, strategy for approaching the market. The venue is at TPC Sawgrass, and the price to participate, $997, 904-706-3532, or go to dtitrader.com/sawgrass. Now, the weekly newsletter, Tom, you brought this up a little bit earlier, released Monday after the close, $9.99 1-year access. Talking about procrastinating. Are you finally going to change this price point? Is that what I heard? $49.99?
Yeah, let me tell you, I'm going to let Chuck hear it for the first time, okay? What Chuck is going to do on Wednesday is take one of the 5 or the special opportunity and outline a long-term strategy with it. And he'll do that on Wednesday for people because I want to start doing that this time of year. And I think Chuck's the best person to do that. He'll take one of those stocks, either the 5 that I identified on Monday and Tuesday, or the one special. He'll give you projections on where it should go, and he'll be using the roadmap to do that. And he will show you those tools inside the roadmap. Might require a little refresh, but it's a must-have on Wednesday. Who likes, like for example, if you were long Google like from this morning, who would like to know here on Wednesday where Google's going to go to over the next 90 days? Well, that's going to be the added value on Wednesday where we take it to the next level. And we think that's good. Yeah, $9.99. I hate to tell you this, but I don't care. One guy yesterday bought 10 years of it at $9.99. I said, Buck did that. I know. I looked, it was Buck. So you can buy 10 years, up to 10 years, I guess. Sean just upgraded 5 years on the power. You're smart, Sean. Does everybody understand? This is $49.99 next week, prior to Wednesday when we release the new feature in here, okay? So, get out there and dance with us.
And take advantage of it while it's still there at $9.99. Sign up at dtitrader.com/weekly or call in 904-706-3532. We got the reps on the line waiting to hear from you. And of course, the online order form, you can always get that done at your own time frame. So go ahead and click in. You can do that while listening to us right here. Of course, the T-Buzz Weekly newsletter includes broad market update, key news for the week, earnings to watch, weekly Magic 5 stocks, and special opportunities. So as Tom pointed out, those weekly Magic 5 stocks and special opportunities starting next week with that $49 increase. Apparently that's to pay me, I guess. We're going to be doing a Wednesday session looking at how to project out into the future. We'll look at either the weekly Magic 5 stocks, special opportunities, what fits best. So I'm going to have to work on how I'm going to get that done. Make it worth your while, guys. But $9.99 if you want to go ahead and sign up now, dtitrader.com/weekly.
All right, and I'll say one more thing is that Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock, the last conversation I have about the market before I get into the futures later on that night is with Jonathan Rowe. Jonathan and I have made a real good team putting this together, and we do it at the close of business on Monday. What do you know on Monday afternoon after the close that you didn't know when you started the day? You don't know Monday's high, Monday's low. You don't know which stocks are going to be the leading stocks into Tuesday. I know that, and the earliest release of that is Monday afternoon, okay? And somebody asked if they buy it now, if their subscription's not up to December, will it extend? Yes. Yes. It will extend. It will extend. Whatever you do, they put it in the books, you're extended. So don't worry, if you expire next year, it will extend, okay? Don, the Magic, Jonathan's got to answer that one. Where is the training for the Magic 5 stocks? We did it, I think, last week. I wish we had the link where you wouldn't have to go to one click to get it, but that's where you can go get it. But I think if you go in there, you can get it with the link. I like links where I don't have to go type in passwords or anything to go anywhere. I just like to have the link if I want to watch something. I think most of y'all would like that, okay?
I can dig that link up. I think it's also important to note that all of our training trade sessions are recorded and found at dtitrader.com/YouTube. If you just bookmark that page or save that page, if you're out at the doctor or maybe on vacation and you need to catch up, you don't have to wait to, email me and me to get back to you. You can just go to dtitrader.com/YouTube, check the live tab, and find the video you're looking for a lot quicker. So let me dig the link up for the, last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were all good. So I'll just post all through those links. But again, dtitrader.com/YouTube, Tom.
If you post it in here, I'm going to take a picture of it because people say, Tom, where's that lesson you were bragging about being so good? And I say, well, I don't know where to find it. And then I forget they ask me, but that's one reason I'd like you, if you post it, I want to take a picture of it. Maybe put it on a slide, Jonathan, that we could take a picture of, because I think that it's those lessons that we've been doing in here. And then we started this week with the art of making money, Monday, Tuesday, and today's Wednesday. You'll see what we're talking about. And that's it. Jackie says the weekly letter link isn't working. I think you got to do the weekly letter inside this room, right? Is that how they do it? You can't do it off the slide. Is that the key?
That's probably what's happening, Jackie. I'll post the link again for you. Let's see. Or you could just go to the web and type in dtitrader.com/weekly. That would work as well. But the Zoom link there should work. And Tom and everybody else, if we try to make it really, really simple in terms of the training trade videos, dtitrader.com/YouTube. Is that too hard to remember? dtitrader.com/YouTube. It'll take you right there. Find everything you need from our training trade education.
Yeah, and I was going to say, as far as the good ones, they're all good. That's why we do them. All right, so let's keep going here and see what we got. We've got Tom's books, Roadmap to the Markets, plus the trilogy, Winning the Day Trading Game, Markets Never Sleep and Trade to Win, all available on Amazon.com. You can go to dtitrader.com/WDTG to get a complimentary portion of the audiobook for Winning the Day Trading Game. Online public resources, Forex Factory, Econo Day, Earnings Whisper. We got a lot going on there. The exchange sites, we'll just skip right through that. Resources at DTI, and we got the white paper booklets. Jonathan has done a pretty good job of trying to interject that YouTube webpage, dtitrader.com/YouTube. Click on the live links to see our live presentations like the one we're doing right now, but also recordings of past presentations. Important terms.
I got to tell you that BNN interview yesterday, I'm working with Emily. She's a new addition. And I was working with Emily and I sent her the video. She used to be in this new stuff. And she said, "Hey, Tom, one thing I like about the way you answer questions, you get to the point." And that interview there, you know, as the interviewer was asking me questions, I guess I give you the executive summary of the answer when people ask me questions, because that's the way I like it. And so anyway, it was a nice compliment she paid me, and I think we're doing an interview next week on her program. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, definitely. Great interview. And I would also go so far as to say, Tom, the penalty tape is certainly one worth listening to.
Yeah, and people understand what the penalty tape is. I tell people it gives you such good procedures. If you lose money, you ought to listen to that as a penalty, because if you listen to it once or twice, you won't be losing money. That's how we got the name.
Yeah, and certainly when you get off track, it's a good way to get yourself back on the beaten path. Bring it back to the basics. Remember what you're trying to do here. That's what the penalty tape does. Helps to center you. If you get a little bit lost, let's bring you back to center. Let's focus on what we need to focus on. Now, speaking of focusing on, we're going to be focusing on a little bit on the options education resource, dtitrader.com/optionsedu. Adam did an incredible job putting this site together. It is a great way to go and link up how you want to trade, what sort of option strategies you can use, spreads, calls, puts, debit spreads, credit put spreads, all sorts of fun stuff out there. Don't forget the Buzzfly. That's one of Tom's favorites. You can learn all about it at dtitrader.com/optionsedu.
Let me ask the question. How many people have used this and think that it's worth our time to mention it? Because the reason I bring that up is because if you have used it, when you send a love letter to Roe at DTI Trader, throw a little love Adam Mallory's way, because he's the one that put this together. Okay? If you watched it and did it, Jonathan, you probably ought to copy the link, or Chuck copied the link in there if they haven't, and make sure they do it.
I can't take credit for that. That was all Adam Mallory.
That's what I'm saying. But I'd copy that link into the room, because people ought to go through it. Mallory did a fantastic job, and every now and then show him a little love, like through that love letter where he'll be in the book. I tell you what, if I'm Adam or Jonathan and them, and Chuck, I'd want to see my name in that book of love letters, saying that they did a good job, because they have done one. So give them a little credit.
All
Jonathan,
right.
did you post Carol's love letter she sent me that I shared with you, I think? I texted it to you. Did you get it?
Let me see. Let me check my phone. You know,
what I'd like to do is throw it up as a slide, because how many people have met Miss Carol from California? I don't even know if she's here. Carol, are you here? Yeah, she's here. Thank you so much for taking the time. Now, that'll be in the book for sure, but it doesn't have to be that long. But but I just want to show it to everybody, because this is what makes me do what I do. People say, "Tom, why do you do this? Why don't you just trade?" I love working with you. I love showing you the right way to do things. And I love feedback like this. This is pretty substantial. So let's show it to people.
okay, Tom, I don't have a text from you this morning on Carol. I know Carol emailed me a couple of days ago, but she might have a new one this morning yet.
Well, hold on. I'm going to look at my thing and I'm going to text it to you. I got it right here. I saved it because it was so good. I said, Carol, you outdid yourself on this sucker. Let me find Carol in here. Carol. Okay, here it is. Okay. Carol, while I'm looking for it, send it to Jonathan if you will. Can you resend it to Jonathan real quick? Because I'd like to show it to people. You did such good work. Maybe it's an email you sent me. You're not finding my text, is it?
Okay, Carol said it was an email yesterday. Now I did get that email. I thought maybe she had something new this morning.
No.
So
Post that.
let me just do this. Let me just do this real quick, Tom.
This is what he's so good at, doing stuff like this. On the spot.
Carol, I assume you're okay sharing everything here for everybody. Let's see.
Of course she's okay. She's already told me that, John. Why would you bring it up? She hadn't said share it with people. She's one of our best guerrilla marketers out there helping us. I got Laura here. She's part of the 2L crew. Laura and Lorna, I gotta say, Lorna. They're coming back for classes.
It might be hard to read here when my screen shares, so let me read it.
I read it.
Carol said, Happy Cinco de Mayo. I'm writing to provide an update on my account's performance since Monday. AMD, she bought 100 shares, netted out about $1,400. She says Intel netted out $1,800. That does not include CBOE and Google trades that are working. Google hit this morning. We saw that from the slide earlier. Dividends in my tax-free IRA, grand total of 853 grand. How about that, Tom? She says you give me confidence to manage my own assets. I know you like the sound of that.
Yeah, because she was down, I think when I met her, she was down about 30% in her account from a guy managing her money.
She says DTI has provided excellent education and I know she's been to a lot of one-on-ones with you there in Ponte Vedra. That's been very successful.
She's got the record right now. I got to tell you, she's got the record. She's been over the last 3 or 4 years. She comes these 2 or 3 times a week. Speaking of that, Carol, are you planning on having a one-on-one with me after Sawgrass? Nobody's told me that, and I don't have you on the calendar. I saved the spot, but nobody's told me that.
And what's funny is what I've heard is that we have other students that know Carol that want to get on her schedule and be there with you at the same time. Carol picks a good week to be there with you normally.
Hey, Carol, send me a text on the dates that I told you I'd save for you, because I looked at my calendar this morning, I didn't see you on there. I won't charge you a penalty fee like I usually do. You can get in at the same price. You gotta have fun with Carol.
Well,
Anyway,
Carol, Tom, this is the same lady who you told no more questions at her first event. She was asking so many questions. A lot of people would have gotten discouraged by that. Well, she kind of used that as fuel to keep pressing, learning. And yeah, here she is now. So thanks for
that was just to give everybody what happened. I was at a live seminar, and about every 10, probably every 5 minutes, she was asking me a question. I said, Carol, you got to stop asking questions. I can't get through my thoughts. I'm going to be here all day. I said, they're great questions. Put it on a piece of paper, give it to me at the end, and I'll sit down where you will go through it. And I thought to myself, boy, she asked a lot of questions, probably about 30 on that day one. And, but we got it worked out. She got her answers. And anyway, I was able to teach the class. I told somebody she won't make it past this seminar. Sure enough, she's been with me ever since then, showed me. And then when she first came to one-on-one, I wouldn't take her for the normal 2 days. I said, I can't stay with Carol for 2 days. We'll do 1 day. She's got to pass the test. So she came in for 1 day. We had so much fun. I think she ended up staying over the next day. And then, but she's a regular. She comes during the year. So from California. So can't let a little distance stop you. But thank you, Carol. One of my favorites. She'll definitely be in the book.
Absolutely. Well, today's education is the first trade day after the FTD algo. Since the FTD algo is set for May, this is training trade for May 6th.
Hey, before we get there, I'd like to go to a live market, Jonathan, and then we'll come back and do this, okay?
Yeah, part of today's presentation is back and forth. This will be perfect.
Okay.
Should
The
be
first thing, let me just say this. The first thing I'd like to do is talk about some trades that were issued this morning, okay? The first one was a QQQ trade. Put QQQ in there. This was a trade I did before we even met. I told John if I was driving home, I said, go on and tell him to buy the QQQ. It was the 7:15 call. And this was a day trade that I designed that we did in the live trading group. And everybody said they were very pleased with the trade, made money. Anybody still got it? I still got it over here. Some of it left anyway of that QQQ trade. Let me know if you're milking it or you took your profit and moved on. There's a took your profits, still in Peg. She's learning. Yeah, we're at Genesis. I made it this far. I'll look at it. Well, that was a QQQ. The next trade I did was NVIDIA. I told him to buy a call option spread. This one went out to July. NVIDIA at the time, I think, was about 203, something like that. And if you look at NVIDIA, it's at 205 right now. So it's moved up from where we got in. That was NVIDIA. The next trade I did was AMD. It was 412 when I bought it in this live room. Where's it at now? I'm just curious. Right about 412 still? I can't see.
AMD's about 414.
414. So it's up. And the last one I did was Google. It was at 390 when I bought it this morning. Where's it at now?
Google. It was moving up. Yeah, 393.5.
Okay. So those are the trades I put out this morning in live trading. And I wanted to cover that because I think that it's important to know if you hear me say the words live trading, Junior, I tell you, when I say live trading, I'm not just talking about live trading, I'm doing it. We put out 4 trades this morning on that. So this week, John, how many powers did we do this week out of the 5, 1 or 2 hit? You know?
We had 3 hit. I'll tell you how it worked. Intel just moved so fast through trigger and target that we had to throw that on the side. We missed that one. It moved too fast. If you're quick as lightning, you found that one. But then we hit 3 others. Well, I'll tell you about the one that didn't hit first. Let's see. One of these hit ABO. I think it was NVIDIA. Yeah, NVIDIA hit ABO before it triggered. So we passed that aside. That's okay. It happens. No fault there because we didn't get in at all. QQQ and the SPY hit yesterday. And then Google hit it big this morning for that 61% win, which is a real nice morning surprise here. So 3 winners.
Power program, okay? And the Tuesday power play is $97. Try it for a month. You won't ever leave if you learn how to trade options properly. See, let me tell you what happens. I meet with a lot of students. And first of all, they let their emotions take over rather than doing a process of trading. I do mine by numbers, okay? And these numbers keep the emotions over here. You're just looking at numbers. That's why when I trade futures or trade options or stocks, it's all about the numbers. And so I have 3 numbers. I have my entry number, that's called a trigger. I have my all bets off number where I'm wrong. And then I have my target area where I will take some profit. Sometimes, depending on what the roadmap's saying, I'll milk it. Like today, I'm still holding that QQQ trade for more because the roadmap, I want to see if Genesis is a continuation day. And if it is, I'm going to ride this baby even further, even though it's up over 30% from where I bought it. So I'm pretty happy about that. Anyway, and for a day trade especially. But I wanted to cover these just to let you know. If you ever hear the words, I'm doing live trading, knock down the door to get in because I'm really paying you to be there. Now, was it last week or when I spoke to Rogers Group, I told people, I said, look, guys, girls, it's going to cost you $1,000 if you don't take this trade. What was the trade I gave last week in front of Roger? Anybody there that heard it? It was on Intel. I know. By the way, I have this problem calling Intel and NVIDIA when I get excited. So it's Intel. Like this morning, I came out and correct. I was talking about Intel. Yeah, Intel. You remember what I did? It was a put spread, wasn't it? Out to July. Anybody remember? Anybody take that trade? Heard me talking? Yeah, it was the 75 put, 72 and a half put out to July. I did 100 of it, and I haven't closed it out yet, but I think I'm up about 80% on that. Anyway, Jennifer says she made 1,500 in 24 hours. I love it. Okay. So I did that as a attention getting step. Then I had the people that had the roadmap stand up. There were about 20 people in there. I said to everybody, you're looking at the smartest people in this room. And I meant it. They had the roadmap software. Can't trade without it. Anyway, that was what I wanted to cover on live, Jonathan. If you want to go back to the slides and we'll see what we're doing there. A little unorthodox today, but I'm on a roll, like I said, might as well take advantage of it.
Well, when you said in T-Buzz TV that it was a busy morning, you weren't kidding. Been a busy morning.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the 3-day algo here for May. Step one, it won't be too long of education here, so stick around, pay attention. This is actually very important, even though it won't be too long of education. How we identify stocks to focus on is number one. Number two, we'll look at the May 1st 3-day stocks. I updated them about 40 minutes ago. Maybe we'll update them again here in a little bit. We'll go to a live market, and then we'll talk briefly about Orion. So how we identify stocks once the 3-day algo is set, okay? Once the 3-day algo is set. Of course, the 3-day algo, if you're brand new, we track the first 3 trade days of the month, mark the highest of the highs and lowest of the lows from those 3 days. Gives us a nice frame to trade from. We've found that if the SPY can open any day above the 3-day algo high, there's an 87% chance the month ends positive, at least from our 5-year study from 2021 to 2025. We saw that play out last month. The 2 months prior to that, we saw it play out to where that it never got us long the market, and that was a smart decision to stay out of the market during February, March. And we're looking here for this month to be a good month as well, because today it opened above the 3-day algo, the SPY did. So things are looking solid here. It's important to remember that the market didn't go straight up or straight down. We just looked at a live market on several stocks. And if you notice, you saw a white bar forming. That's our Genesis bar. It's typical on most days for the kind of, if we're up at the highs at Genesis, you might have some resistance stepping in here. So it's important right now, at least in the intraday market, not to go barreling in, putting all your money at risk right now, because we're kind of in that period, the Genesis hour, where the market's trying to decide, is the up move done for today? Which would be totally fine in the grand scheme of things for the month, right? Gains aren't made in a day, most likely. Or are they going to extend it further today? We're in that waiting game. So keep that in mind as far as intraday today. But the goal for today is we're going to narrow our focus down to 20 to 25 stocks. We don't want too big a stock list. And for the greatest part with our spreadsheet, the market's going to help us narrow that down just by the numbers. Immediate candidates are those that are above the 3-day algo high and also above the week start high, Monday high. The next tier of candidates, if things weren't so strong, the next tier of candidates would be the stocks that were in the top third of the FTD algo range. Of course, anything that's below the month open, we crossed it out until it can prove that it's, ready to make the list. And so let's go searching here for this. Let's click on the 3-day algo spreadsheet. I do want to update it real quick because it's been about 45 minutes. or a little less, I guess, but still want to get it updated. Share the spreadsheet link. Save that link I just posted in the Zoom because it will not change as the months go along.
Let me point out crude oil for everybody. If everybody looks at crude, you'll see that the midpoint's what, 103.29 with the high of 107.50 roughly, but it's short. And if you look at it this morning, the 3-day low was what, Jonathan, on crude?
Let's see. It was 99.11.
Yeah, 99.11. So we came into the day, it was already anticipating a sell-off, probably because why the market was rallying so big. But if you look at that this morning, when I was very confident saying it's time for go down, it went down. It's in a short for the month of May. So you're probably looking at, delay filling up your gas tanks for my point is, because take it down, you'll get cheaper price as the month progresses, the way this is what it's telling. Cheaper prices for gasoline.
Everybody loves that. The way this works is you have these columns here. Let me see if I can make them both viewable. Above the FTD algo means the current price, like on the S&P of 73.65, is above the FTD algo high, which was 73.04. That's why the S&P says long. The NASDAQ, you can see the current price, 28,560, is above the 3-day algo high, 28,247. That's what it says long. Crude oil says short because the current price of 95.44 is below the FTD algo low. So you can see how the spreadsheet works now, hopefully. Bookmark the page at the top, or at least on Google and Google Chrome, that is, if you're using that as your web browser, or Microsoft Edge. There's a star at the top right. Somewhere on your browser, depending on which one you're using, there's a star. That will help you save the link to get back to it easier later on. Answering a question in the chat there from Morse. Now, as we go through this, what I'm going to do is we want to narrow this down to 10 to 20 stocks. Okay, so over on the roadmap, we have a feature called under tables called Trade Tracker, which is built for this process, for the first 3-day algo process. So let's go to tables, Trade Tracker. Let's I'm going to replace the asterisk .dat here with May stock lists. Just name it something. All right. And on this spreadsheet, if I just go ahead and put the S&P and the NASDAQ in there, let those fill in, you can see that it gives us the monthly open price of 72.56 on the S&P, currently 73.68. So we're above the month open. That's why that box is green. We have an FTD high of 73.04 and an FTD low of 71.99. We're above that FTD range. So those boxes are green, but also the last box is green. So the way this works, let me put crude in there. So crude oil, the last box, all right, let me add Bitcoin too. Let's add Bitcoin too real quick. Let's see, actually we're okay. I need to fix my spreadsheet. All right. The way this works, there's a lot of great information here, but if you just want a quick snapshot, narrow your focus down to the last column. Of course, that gives you the last price, all right? But if the box is green, you know instantly that stock, or futures in this case, is above the 3-day algo, all right? If the box is red, like crude oil, the last box is red like crude oil, you know it's below the 3-day algo low. And if the box is yellow or orange, is whatever you want to call that color, depending on your color scheme and computer, that means it's in between. You can see Bitcoin's in between the FTD algo high and low. FTD algo high is 82,120, current price 82,000, so it's certainly closer to the high. but it is in between still. That's why that box is yellow. That's how this trade tracker works. It gives you the Monday high and low, week start high and low, and then it gives you other trading levels to trade from, like the 5-day high and low and the 10-day high and low. All right. That's a great feature called the trade tracker. So let's go back to our spreadsheet, and Tom, we'll just work through this and you can tell me which of these stocks you would like to add for closer in focus. I'm going to highlight the first chunk of stocks here, the indexes.
All those.
SPY, SPX, XSP, QQQ, and the leverage Qs, TQQQ. Okay. What's short here, just out of curiosity? We got financials and utilities short. Let's see. Next group of longs is silver.
SLV is the only silver I want to look at right now.
Okay, SLV. We
I
got
mean,
gold.
see, the reason I say that, folks, I'm long PAAS, I'm long KGC. And so if I focus on SLV, this going up, all the rest to go up.
All right, I'll throw
And
GLD.
GLD also. GLD also.
You want to add copper as well?
Copper, I do want to add copper. I'm glad you brought that up. I got to check it to see if we made a new high today. If we did, that could be pretty bullish. Okay. Thank you. Hey, do I need to leave Intel in here? Or do I need to ask, do we need to leave Intel in here? CoreWeave's another one.
Keep track of CoreWeave, okay.
Google.
Google, yep, definitely.
I want to put Tesla. Tesla's not long yet, but I think Tesla is getting near breaking out, and I want to put it in here. AMD, obviously. MU, Neil loves MU. Every time I get a text from all the time, hey, I made more money on MU. Thank you again. Thank you again. What else we got here? Not yet, but NNE could be a play. We'll keep it out. Palantir's not in. Okay. Yogi's up, but I'm going to pass that one. I'm trying to limit down what I'm probably going to actually trade. Does everybody see? Hold on, I want to make a comment about EPOL. Okay. It's out of Poland. I bought this stock and I'm up $7 on this stock. I only got 100 shares of it. I only had 100. I got more than it now. But this is a stock, if I was you, I'd buy 10 shares of it. If you're making money, buy another 10. I'd keep building position. Since I've been in this stock, it has steadily increased in value. This might be the next Berkshire Hathaway. I'm just saying it because I've never seen a stock that graduates higher like this EPOL. I know Mike has got it, and I mean it just keeps graduating higher, higher, and higher. Start with 10 shares if you're new. 10 shares. Let me know. ARM is one I haven't traded yet. I wanted to trade, then I got busy, and yeah, Joe's in it. He came to a one-on-one. Anybody came to a one-on-one about a couple of months ago or whatever, I said, buy this EPOL. Joe was at a one-on-one. He just signed up. Everybody give Joe a hand. He just took a spot to come down for another one-on-one the second half of the year. Joe, what date are you coming? September, is that right? Joe's coming in September for a one-on-one. I think it's September, right, Joe? Yeah. And then Peter Blair was in yesterday. Him and his son came. Peter's coming back in December, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Let's all give Peter a hand. I don't do a lot of these. I try to limit it about one a month, but it's pretty well filled out. So those are 2 one-on-ones that I have. So I want to take my hat off to Joe and Peter for going on getting everything set. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. I think that would, Jonathan, I think that'll sort of do it if that's okay.
That's great.
for-
Good amount. Just enough to fit the screen here, Tom.
Vern, it's 5,000 a day, 10,000 for 2 days. But you can't come direct. You got to go to go. You got to come to one of my classes before you come one-on-one. And the reason I do it that way, I make sure you're gonna get your money's worth. Meaning, I got to work with you with a group, and then I'll say if you want to, then I'll take it. Okay, it's like you understand. I don't want you to pay me that money unless you really get you're able to make that while you're here. Okay, and Carol asked, did I put her on there? Let's thank Carol. She's coming June. I think it's 3rd and 4th, right, Carol? Isn't that what you told me? June 3rd and 4th. Okay, she'll be here June 3rd and 4th. We have a good time to go. So y'all watching the market on June 3rd and 4th, odds are it's going to probably be a pretty good payer June 3rd and 4th. Carol's in town. But everybody, I want to go back to the one-on-one, John, because I really don't want to just do the one-on-one unless you get what you need. And I can't tell if you're going to get what you need unless I spend some time with you in that group class, okay? Does everybody understand how that works? You know, John Sproul came to three or maybe 4 before I would take him for a one-on-one, you know. And then finally he came, and it was well worth his time. I think he made 14,000 last week or last 2 weeks. Thank you, John. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, let's keep going, Jonathan. I'll shut up.
No, we just need to focus in on a few. Now, I just had an alert go off on Google at 395. You can see it's at 394.95. So what we want to do with this list, Tom, you know, this is a great list of however many, maybe 20 stocks here. Let's talk about how you'll use this list to trade the rest of maybe today, but also more importantly, I would say rest of the week. How you'd use this to trade the rest of the week.
Yeah, so if it pops on my screen and it's higher after Monday, it fits the criteria. I need to consider some options or buying stock. And so if I look at Monday's high and Monday's low after it makes the screen next week, for example, or in the case of this week, those trades I gave you, what was it? Google, AMD, those two, and NVIDIA had set up. So I said, we can get in those today. And so as you see, Google's now at 395, it's 390. NVIDIA, I hadn't checked it. Let me check it real quick. NVIDIA, before I open my mouth about it, yeah, it's at 205. It's soaring. And then the other one I gave you was AMD. It's at 414. It was at 111 or 411 or whatever. I sometimes lose the first digit. I only think the last 2 digits. But those stocks are definitely should be payers this week, and some of them are already paid. Okay. And when you get the indexes higher, like QQQ and SPY, they go higher also.
Yeah, lots of green on the board. Let's talk about maybe more on a more typical week, you'd see more stocks like Tesla that are not quite above their 3-day or they're not quite above their week start. So Tesla, you heard Tom mention, he's eyeing this one very, very closely. A practice that you can repeat, we'll do this now for Tesla, but also repeat in weeks and months ahead, is look at this stock. It's strong. It's above the week start. It's above the month open, but it's not above the 3-day high. So where do you think we're going to set an alert on Tesla shares? We're not buying it now, but we want to be alerted when it gets above that 3-day high, 402.12. So I'm literally going right now to set an alert, and I'll do it inside the roadmap here to show you.
And I'm doing that too.
I'm going to go to launch. I'm going to go to price alerts right here inside the roadmap. I'm going to hit the new button. Type in the symbol in all caps, Tesla. I'm not sure you have to be all caps, but just for good measure, make it all caps. last price greater than or equal to, let's make it 402.55 like Tom usually likes to do there. A little extra English, as he says, and I'll click OK. Now the roadmap will start beeping at me if that happens. And if so, I would go into launch price alerts again and right click on that alert and delete it. But I also like to be alerted over my phone, and a great way to do that is on your trading platform. So I'm just going to go over to Tasty Trade, and I can show you that. Tasty Trade. Switch over the screen share real quick. There it is. So I've got Tesla entered in here. I click the arrow pointing to the left at the top right, and then make sure you're on the bell icon right here. It might be like on analysis or overview by default. So click on the bell icon. And then you're able to set an alert. If you need to change the ticker again, just change the ticker Tesla. Last greater than, what was the price? 402.12. Here, I'll put it at 402.12. This is a early alert there at the actual number on Tasty Trade. And then it appears right down here after I click create alert to 402.12 Tesla. So later this week or next week, if Tesla gets over 402.12 and has a positive reference bar signal, chances are the program's going to get a trade on Tesla. I mean, just telling you right now, chances are pretty high that a program of Tom's will get a trade on Tesla.
Now you say yourself, Tom, you had talked about Tesla in about 6 months. The reason is it wasn't set up. So I try not to waste your time, which is very valuable to me to respect that until you're going to get paid. And I'll get you focused on where to, I always laugh at that guy, where do they keep the money in the banks, right? Willie Horton said that or something. They asked him why he robbed banks. That's where they keep the money. Well, I'm sort of the same way, not robbing banks, but I like to put my time where I'm going to get paid to focus on. You focus on a lot of, how many people have a problem focusing on a lot of stuff that doesn't make you money? One thing I think we do at DTI, we stay true to that conviction. We want you to make money. I love this 4th day after the 3-day, because then you got some statistics behind me. Close to 90%, these stocks that open above those numbers go higher for the month. Look what Peg just said, Jonathan. She's finally listening after I got her back even. She was down hard. Crying every time I talked to her.
Let me post that. Peg says, I've learned my lessons this year. Now I'm following you, Tom.
Yep. Thank you, Peg. I just want you to make money. I love success. I love surrounding my people around people that want success and want to learn the right way to do this. And look, guys and girls, I've lost so much money in this market. I could write a book on what not to do. That'd be worth a fortune. It'd be a bestseller. I made every mistake in the book. I know how you can do it. And that's the other thing I want to bring up real quick while I'm thinking about it. I really believe that you ought to have one trading account with all your trading money, and then have your swing accounts and long-term accounts separate. I've found out by focusing on that one account with all these trades, nothing gets away from it. Does that make sense? Where I can focus on that one account where I'm doing all these trades and go find them. Because they're trading. Trading is short term and sometimes a little bit longer, but I think if you focus on that one account, you can watch that account rise in value. It gives you that confidence. Rob says he contributed to my book. Maybe write the foreword of it, Rob. What a great guy. You got to meet Rob. Okay. You want to keep going?
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions about today's training on the first 3-day process and how we find stocks? It's very clear today with so much green on the board. In February and in March, obviously, we were in muddy waters, but that was a fantastic lesson itself in terms of keeping your hand off the mouse. So before we finish up with today's conclusion, just let us know if you have any questions. Pete, here you go, Tom. Pete says, how do you use the midpoint of the 3-day range?
Well, that is okay. Say you're looking at the range, and the midpoint is actual natural support over those 3 days. And so if it breaks that midpoint, then it means one thing to me. Okay, it means that market is getting closer to the downside than the upside. That's how I use it. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Axel, how do you use the 5-day and 10-day high? I typically focus the way I trade on the 5-day high and 5-day low. The 10-day is if I've got a position on it, okay? And I think that what I'm trying to do is make sure that I'm moving away from that. Like if I take the last 5 days, well, my 5-day high has changed on Google, correct? Everybody got that? Well, if I look at the 5-day low on Google and I take the midpoint of that 5-day high and low, now I've got a support area where it's possible to go further. Does that make sense? That's what I'm talking about.
All right, one more question here to address there, and I think this is interesting because David says, can you quickly cover the 24-hour trade tracker? A lot of people don't know you can do this, but you can right click on the trade tracker itself, and down at the bottom here it says 24-hour trade tracker. When you toggle it over to that, the viewpoint kind of changes a little bit. We now see the week open instead of the month open. We see the daily open. The color coding still works the same, right? The last traded price above those, the boxes are going to be green. We see the FTD high and low numbers. And then we see a frame high, frame low. This is the most important part of this 24-hour trade tracker side. The frame high and frame low is what we call the RB frame on our compass charts. And if you look at those pink lines there on the compass chart, it's marking the high and low, the highest high and lowest low from our past 2 reference bars. So the Genesis reference bar that just formed made a high of 73.71. That was clearly higher than RB3 high. So it's the RB frame high, 73.71. Now the RB3 made a low of 73.27, clearly lower than the Genesis bar. So that's our frame low, 73.27. And you can see those numbers over here in the table. Any questions on all that? Show real quick how to get there. Right click on the trade tracker and you're going to toggle on 24-hour trade tracker. All right. It'll be on. It has a check mark. If you want to go back, of course, just right click and click on it again to toggle it off. All right. I think we addressed everything for the most part. Let's see.
Well, I got one thing. Do I have my slide? Because I got a new referral program I'm issuing today.
We can build a slide real quick.
Okay, let's put the link that they would send people to train and trade. What is it? Do that on the slide. I want y'all to take a picture of this. Okay?
AJ Rowe's like the 3rd slide in the deck. So it was right before the
Oh yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, let's do that. Hang on just a second, Tom. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, good side here. DTItrader.com/train and trade. Full words. DTItrader.com/train and trade.
Okay, so if I wanted to send somebody to train and trade, they would our customers would send that to them. And then what I would do also is somehow I want to keep up with it. So the best way to keep up with it, if you send somebody, send an email to Rowe@DTI-Trader, and John, make a separate folder, because I'm going to do something really special for anybody that helps us build this, okay? So if you run into somebody, tell them to come free, and then we will do a get started to train and trade video. Okay. And I think that we'll do that for you if that's okay. Where all you have to do, say I'm talking to somebody, man, what are you doing in the market? Well, I listen to this group called DTI, and you ought to go. It's free, and just stay for a few days. You might learn something. Other than that, if you like trading or investing, they're gonna pick it up. All you do is type your question, and they'll try to answer it. But if y'all will do that, Jonathan will give you a notch. Let me tell you how it's going to work. So let's say that Joe here decides to really get aggressive, send about 10 people. Everybody understand? At some point in the future, Joe will have 10 drawings, or not 10 drawings, 10 slots in the drawing we have. So let me talk to you. Say I had 100 people in there, and Joe's got 10 of them because he worked hard trying to help us. Joe would have 10% better probabilities than person just referred one, right? So we're going to do this. We'll have our drawing at Sawgrass between now and then. And so I'm asking you, because we need your help, because y'all want me to keep doing this. I got to have more people here. I need to have a goal. We got right now in here, we got 150 people. This week, our high number was 220. What I'm going to tell you is if we get to 300 by June with your help, on a consistent basis, then I'm going to do something for Adam, Jonathan, Chuck to make sure they benefit also. That's a promise. And that'll be announced at Sawgrass if we can get there. Y'all think we can do it if y'all help me? We make it a team effort here. I mean, don't you think it's worth telling people about what we do? Okay, so to get registered, if you send somebody, okay, send it to Roe at DTI Trader. And if you send more than one, send it again where you get those extra drawings. And I will do the drawing at Sawgrass. Kelly will be there, and we'll have her do the drawing traditionally. She's an old DTI, not old, but she's a DTI person. But what we're trying to do is make it to 300 with your help. We can't do it on our own. I'm convinced that people don't know about us, and it's time they do. And I'll put Jonathan, remind me this week, I want to do a special video for the new people that we can cover a few things that they can have that once they sign up, okay? Or we actually see it in here. And what we'll do, Jonathan, if they send you say you get 5 of them, announce those names and see if they're here. If they're here, they're registered, okay? Meaning if Joe sends Steve in here and we say, Steve, you here? And he says he's here, then he gets that vote, okay? I'm counting on you, Rob. I'm counting on you, Mike, and everybody to help me here. We get to 300, y'all done something, and that'd make me feel good. And plus, it will justify the fact we're giving you all this stuff. And just to show you my good faith, I got a trade I'm going to give you before we leave today. Now, Jonathan, are you doing are we going to talk about anything that we might want to highlight today?
Yeah, we have Orion queued up. So let's get that trade either before or right after Orion.
All right, why don't we do it? Let's do it this way. We'll post it as a bonus trade in the Orion channel.
That's great.
Let's do it that way. Okay, and I'll give it to you. When we get there. So you got to be an Orion member, but I can promise you, what is the price we're selling Orion for, you know?
Let's see. It's called Orion Trade Alerts. We have a system that searches searches QQQ, gives you trades such like that. I wouldn't expect a short one today by any means, but some trades. There's a trade from the past, 22% return on that one. We have a little dashboard that tells you bullish or bearish as your market bias, trying to make it easy for you. There's a bullish trade from the past, 28% return, 24% there. Let's see, dtchatter.com/Orion is the link. The price is a VIP membership. They said founding membership, $19.95 lifetime.
Yeah, so here's what I'm going to do. If anybody signs up for Orion today, after listening to this, Jonathan to tell me, I will post a trade inside Orion on a bonus deal. The idea will be that this trade that I post is going to give you a discount if you buy Orion. Does that sound fair? I give you a trade that you can make some money on out of Orion as a bonus today. Y'all like the way I play this game? And why would you want Orion? Orion is like, if you learn what I'm showing you in Orion, it does it automatic for you. It's going to make you trade better. This is automatic analysis, like a mini me saying, Tom will be going long right now. Look at Orion. So that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to post it as a bonus trade in Orion. I'll do it, let's say at 2 o'clock. That gives everybody a chance to listen to this and be there. Now, we don't have anything else today live. Does anybody have any questions before we play this recording? Okay. So let's do that, and then I'll post it in there, and then we'll make some people smile.
Yeah, sounds good. Let me get the recording queued up. Just a few minutes.
Yeah, go on and call Kelly and sign up, Jay. Go on and do that. That's fine. You don't have to listen to the recording if you're ready to sign up. You just hit the link and sign up. But you ought to listen to the recording. Pretty good. Pretty good, Wendy. Okay.